We might have surpassed Dr. Dyno Ben Probst in the Lindsay Machine team. No, that's probably not true. They've been doing dyno runs on these longer than us, but I know Dr. Dyno Ben, he's done over 80 500cc dyno runs. This one's going to be special to me because this is a 97 CR500, my personal favorite. This is a very similar configuration to the one we just ran on the dyno. It does not have that big head on it. You have BBS's initials. He's the lead port, one of the lead port guys at Lindsay Machine. Again, stock carburetor, stock intake. It's got a V-force reed valve on it with a CPI pipe. So this is a motor that you can duplicate without spending a fortune, and it's bulletproof. These things are absolutely bulletproof and proven. This is the steel frame. This is an aluminum frame. That does not affect the rear wheel horsepower. It does affect the weight and the handling a little bit. For some applications, I prefer the Steely. The Steely you can do vintage racing, which is the best thing. You show up at the Northeast. I showed up the Northeast Regional Vet Championship on my 97 that I've done basically very little to in the last 2 years, and hole shot and won against the new 450s on a 25-year-old bike. How about that, Wiz?
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, off the couch too.
Straight off the couch. Now, what he's doing here is putting this on so he can check the RPM and torque.
Technically,
Too, because
Battery's dead. See, we're adjusting the wheel automatically.
and it's not a different wheel job.
There you go. Woo! Yeah! Woohoo! Hell yeah! A son of a bitch. Ben, you were right. It was jetted wrong on the first dyno run. Only put down 57.85. That was a simple jetting change, and it got an extra 58, 59, 60, 4 horsepower. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That shows you how much the dyno is important for tuning a bike. Hey guys, if you're making wild complaint, if you're gonna put a comment in here about how your bike puts down 70 horsepower and blah blah blah, and your Banshee's 100 horsepower, I'm just gonna bring it here so we can put it on the damn dyno, because we've heard so much bullshit and so much wild claims about what shit does.
Everybody says more. Everybody.
They're liars.
Oh, 7 more horse with this pipe, 7 more horse with this intake, 7 more horse with our carburetor.
It's a bunch of shit.
We have 150 horsepower if every.
So we were dropping a video later today. That 100 horsepower shifter cart, well, it's only got 65 at the rear wheel. The guy, no hard feelings or anything, but he sold it to us as a 100 horsepower shifter cart. Now, if I was signing paychecks that are supposed to be $1,000 and they were $650, would you guys have a problem with that?
I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here. Would you have a problem with that?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're gonna sell something or if you're gonna talk mad shit on the internet, back it up with one of these, boys. A dyno report. Otherwise, shut your pie hole, because you're full of shit. Okay? You're shit. Absolutely full of shit. Hey, Wiz, you got the look going on there.
I got the Wizitude t-shirt.
And you got the golden boot.
The boot.
You know what that's for, boys. Jeff, can you explain to me exactly what just happened here?
Bring it back.
Yeah, so last time we ran this, it had a 180 main jet, and the fuel to air was way down here, which is rich. Below this line is rich, and above it is lean. So we were way down here, so I said, let's change the main jet 8 points. So the fuel to air went from 11 to 12 and a half, and the power went from here to here.
And that's what is the ideal? 13 to 1. So you're damn near
Yeah,
close
so-
to the ideal.
Yeah. It's heading up towards that. I only
Almost
revved,
perfect.
I only revved
You don't
it
want
to
a
7.
2-lane because it could blow, right?
Well, I only revved it to 7. These bikes, see, they sign off at 7,500 RPMs. This bike will rev to 10, but if I hold it there, this will just keep going like that.
And it
but
makes you're losing power at
Yeah.
7,500 RPM. It drops off like a rock. So
you can't ride this bike at 10,000 RPMs on a racetrack. You just don't do it.
So the meat of the really you want to ride this thing between 6,000 and 7,500 RPM.
Yeah.
You know. So what was the horsepower difference between just with the jetting change?
57.8 to 61.4.
Did we change the fuel too? Wiz, did we change the fuel?
Yes, we did change.
Now we
It's
also
got-
went from VP 110 to T2.
Yep.
Just to keep it consistent, we're supposed to be running T2. The run we've done here, we've run T2. Why do we run VP this time? Because we ran out of our distributor ran out of T2.
Nice
So
choice.
T2 is oxygenated, boys, and that makes an extra horsepower. Yes, it is.
T2 is not
Yes,
oxygen.
Yes, it is.
3%
Yes, it is.
oxygen.
You don't know what you're talking about, son. It's oxygenated, and it makes a difference.
I asked the
It does make a
fuel guy,
difference.
yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it is.
So
It is
it's
absolutely.
close and a half.
So now this is where, guys, you talk mad shit about horsepower. It doesn't mean jack unless you got the torque, because the torque is a force that moves the bike. Okay, this thing's putting down 44.61 maximum torque at 61. Is that 61.04 horsepower?
Yeah.
61 horse, the rear wheel, 44.61 foot-pound of torque. Hey guys, we're not looking to start any trouble with the four-stroke crowd out there, but some truths need to be revealed. There's been some issues with the new bikes. Wiz, tell us what the issues are.
I'm hearing all kinds of issues with cam chains on YZ250s.
And they're saying to change your cam change every how long?
52 strokes, exploding pistons.
Why?
I don't know. They're
Yeah,
using
no,
cheap
you said it
metals.
earlier. You
They're
said it
using
earlier.
Taiwan metals now. They're not using the metals they used to from Japan. It's either Brazilian or Taiwanese or.
And it ain't holding up.
It's not.
And
it's not the.
and I heard
metallurgy
Kawasaki
isn't as well.
was blowing the clutches up on their 450s. They had to drill holes in the engine cases to
Cool them
lubricate
off.
those. So there's been a lot of issues with the new bikes. And if you want to change your cam chain every 5 hours, go ahead. You want to buy a bike that doesn't grenade? My 97 CR500, I won back-to-back 500cc grass drag championships, countless motocross races, and beat the living shit out of it for 3 years. And I didn't even change a freaking spark plug. All I did was change the air filter and the oil. I did dick for maintenance, and I rode it around the compound, 5th gear tapped all the time. They're freaking bulletproof. This is a 30-year motor. Hey, ask Honda if they'll give you a lifetime warranty on the crank on a CR450R. You don't even get a full circle warranty. I just bought one. I bought one and I had to sign a piece of paper that said if it blows up, too effing bad. Now, you buy from built500.com a billet case, and AJ will warranty that MFer for a lifetime. For a lifetime. So, why? Because it ain't gonna blow up. But you might blow up that 4-stroke. That's for damn sure. Now, on the other side of the coin, I had a 2010 YZ450 that went 192 hours, and I didn't have to do anything to it. Even the valves were adjusted perfectly.
they were solid back then.
Yeah, on the 2010. So maybe it was. In the new KTM's are pretty damn bulletproof too. You're saying, right?
Yeah, the KTM.
I heard they're burning oil.
They're holding up.
Jack
as much as
Camellia told me.
anybody. They're burning oil.
KTM King.
Well,
No, a couple
Hondas
years
used to
ago.
burn oil big time, and they only hold 0.6 of a liter in the.
That's the thing.
early
That's the
ones.
thing. There is no engine oil. There's only gear lube. There's only gear lube on this. You can't.
Gone in no time.
You burn your engine oil every time the piston goes on this because you're burning 32 to 1, brother.
So this bike,
Say that one more time. Which bikes we talking about here, brother?
Stop.
this bike,
Stock YZ450 2021, which Mario's had countless problems with. Well, describe some of the problems. I mean, you couldn't even ride it for like 6.
Had no problem.
You're full of shit,
No,
brother.
I
Okay, I know your sponsors pay you to say that shit. Cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit.
I
Let's
only
get right
have-
to the truth. All right. He can't say this. I can. The fucking thing has been in the shop with bad electronics all summer.
hours ago?
It's got like 6 hours on it, and it was stalling going over the triples. Now he doesn't want to burn any bridges. Truth, man, I got nothing to lose. Manufacturers ain't paying me a damn nickel. This is all out of my pocket right here.
On something, and it wouldn't put 6 hours on it.
Yeah.
$1,000.
And it's stalling off on the face of triples, and they can't fix it.
I threw
That-
the window.
Yeah, that's a bad deal.
Through the window. If it ran, it'd be right
It's
through
it's
the
fixed
window.
now. You sure it's fixed, or are you just saying that
It's fixed.
to cover your tracks? This is how these pro riders are. They tell you what the F you want to hear because their pockets, these pockets right here, are getting filled right up.
Pockets
Filled right up
empty.
by the teams, okay? Yeah, well, I ain't getting paid a goddamn nickel, nor have I ever, so I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what we're finding. Cheesy metals, no parts availability. Good luck.
They're starting to outsource some of the bikes to Brazil, Taiwan.
What about
India.
getting a crankcase for a 10-year-old CRF 450? Can you get a crankcase for it if it blows up from Honda? No.
you
So what do
cannot.
you do? You fix the glitch. You put a built500.com motor in there. The only problem is AJ can't keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
There's like I think there's like a 4-month backlog right now.
Billet engine cases.
So here's the horsepower difference.
This is a horsepower difference right here.
9 horsepower and 12 pounds of torque difference between the CR500 and the YZF 450.
One more time.
There's nine
Point up to us.
between the YZF 450 and the CR500. There's 9 horsepower difference and 12 pounds of torque.
Okay.
That's substantial.
Now you guys are going to comment in there, well, compare it to a built 450 motor, you should do that. Build your 450 motor. The thing's already shutting off. The electronics are shutting off on it. Build that motor, and how's that going 2 or 3 seasons down the road? Are you going to be able to go 2 seasons without changing the spark plug and just doing air filters and oils? Hell no. You got to change the cam chains. You got to adjust the valves. I mean, once you build the motor,
At a
right?
pro level, though, a 500's not legal. The AMA will not
We know
let a
that.
ref
Listen,
500.
we're not pros. We're a bunch of old dudes
Yeah,
and young
true.
dudes.
Some of us
He's a pro, so you got to.
He has to ride.
You
He
got
has to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I think
You don't have a
I
choice.
think you can ride the YZ250 two-stroke now in outdoors.
But they're actually made out of Chinese metals and they're blowing up left and right now, right? That's what I heard.
know.
That's what I heard. I don't
Hopefully
know.
the new one is better.
Yeah, the new one should be kick-ass. God, I hope so, because I love, Kenny did good on them 250s. So here it is, guys. It's got 10 horsepower more, and I got to do the math here. Hey, do the math, guys. Listen, grab your damn calculators. Look at this, 32.61 versus 44.61. That's a 30% increase in torque, and you don't have to rev it to 11,000 RPM. You've got that kind of power between 5 and 7,000 RPM. You can short shift the thing. 30% more torque. That's freaking huge.
So Mario, when they do mod up a 450 YZF 450, what are they actually doing to them?
You'll put, you'll start it. I mean, you can polish and port the training, obviously, and free that up. Put a Corilla rod on it, for durability. Put a good piston in it, a good CP piston or whatever.
Putting higher lift cams in it.
Yeah,
Cam in it.
Put
Springs.
cams in,
I mean,
valve
the
springs. You have to
reliab-
put the valve springs in with the.
How's the
cams.
reliability on
I
that
would say
65
the
horsepower?
reliability would go down as far as valve springs. maybe.
I will honestly say, I at Loretta's this year there was a kid, and he had a fully built mod motor, and it wasn't Yamaha parts or anything that he had in it, but what had happened is he had a bunch of mixed match stuff, and the motor just wasn't built correctly. It wasn't all matching parts and stuff. You know what I mean? Like he had cams in it without valve springs and stuff like that. What ended up happening is he ended up and it was polished and ported and everything out the moon, but it blew up. I said, you know what? Let's take this thing back to stock. Just put a Vortex. He just had the Vortex ignition in it, and it ended up. He got 6 in B class.
So the stock one had more horsepower than a mod. Hey,
I would say so. He thought it was faster.
Himself came online during one of the pre-race videos interviews when he was at the Yamaha last year. He said that the factory race engine had too much power and he was running a stock YZ 450. Mere mortals, and Justin Barsha is no mere mortal. He's a god as far as the motocross gods are concerned, rider ability, and even him couldn't handle that. That begs to be said about where do you need this kind of power on a 500? I can tell you straight up. You need it on the start, you need it on the sand uphills, and if you go to Sand Mountain or Pismo or cross country racing or a supermoto, you can use every ounce. A beginning novice rider can use every ounce of horsepower going up that half-mile sand hill. So there are places, if you're riding supercross, maybe you don't need a 500, but if you're a recreation rider and if you want depression instantly during the middle of winter and get your adrenaline pumped up to the max and get all your endorphins running.
And don't forget, rip your house off a foundation.
Yeah, and what happens what else do you get? Turn around. Let me see your shirt.
Oh.
What do they get?
Strippers, rippers, and beer.
Now, if you ride a 500, you get strippers, rippers, and beers. Okay, that didn't go off the way I wanted it to, but and we're not editing this video, boys. So, one more time, what do you get when you ride a 500?
What do you want me to say?
Strippers, rippers, and beers.
No, I didn't say it right.
Okay.
Rippers and beers.
Tell them what rippers are. It's not lines of coke.
It's not lines of coke. That might have been the 80s. This is dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes. That's rippers. You thought it was a dude.
It's a ripper.
You're messed up. You're from the millennial, rainbow club. I don't know what's up with you, man. But the strippers is obvious. What else?
Rippers, and
rippers
beers.
are these.
That's what we like to
and
do
beers
on
are
Fridays.
cold beers.
Makes sense.
Throwing a cigar or two.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to point out something to you here. This is not that this is a contest or anything, but Ben Probst with the Packard Engineering bike is putting down 43.6 versus 40.32. That's a Packard Lindsay machine versus Packard Engineering. Both with the same carburetors, right, boys?
Yeah.
Same exhaust, same carb. So that's all porting.
That's mid-range now.
Mid-range too. 3.5 horsepower, almost 3.5 more, 3.3 more, and an extra like quarter of a horsepower on the top.
On peak.
So they're almost tied at the top,
Yeah.
but Lindsay Machine, Brian's bike takes the cake as our fastest two-wheeled 500. Guys, got to point out one more thing. The 100 horsepower shifter cart, another total exaggeration bullshit. Not so much on the guy who owned it, I don't think. He said it was 100 horsepower. I think the guys who, I don't know, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but somehow he got the idea it was 100 horsepower, and we kind of knew that was bullshit, just like all the other wild claims we ran it on the dyno, and it put down, Jeff, how much?
63.
63.31 right here, 63.31. Only a couple horse more. Now, at the crank, that's probably, I don't have a calculator, 75 horsepower, 78, but it ain't no 100 horsepower, and they were talking 100 horsepower at the rear wheel. So it's sad. It's sad when people think that they're, it's like $1,000 in the bank. No, you don't. You got 63,000 homes, and you can't buy your house with that. So real dyno numbers. No more pie in the sky bullshit, guys. And don't even comment in here, I got a 78 horsepower, blah, blah, blah. Unless you got a dyno video to show me, because it's really a bunch of wild speculation usually. Jeff wants to point out something here that should be obvious. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, the horsepower, peak horsepower is only 3 difference between it, but look at the horsepower, the mid-range power with the shifter cart, with the mini sprint, with that. The mini sprint has a gigantic exhaust pipe on it and a roost boost bottle on the intake. So
15 horsepower more in the mid-range. That's freaking huge. That's
So-
like almost 50% more, 40%.
yeah, them little cars, they weigh whatever they weigh, 450, 500 pounds. They need a lot of torque to come out of the turn. So that's why they put them gigantic exhaust systems
So the
on it.
big exhaust and the boost bottle is adding tons of torque. Just goes to show you how important the size of the pipe is. Size does matter, definitely. Hate to break it to you, but this big Cobra CPI pipe is putting down the most power, and it may not be the best for off-road, like in the woods or stone, but if you're riding in the sand dunes or on a sand motocross track, that's the pipe you want to have, man. The bigger pipe you can get. That's why the FMF Fatty puts down a little more power than the stock one too. It's a little bit bigger. The FMF Fatty is the best value we found on an exhaust pipe. Guys, we've done it. What's it all about? Well, we want to bring you the best 500 products, the best two-stroke products at the best price. And let me tell you, you don't need a torque stick on your carb. Really, that's a bunch of BS, that thing, right? I mean, I hate to throw anybody under the bus, but this torque stick.
No, just a regular.
Just put a key in there.
Yeah, key.
You can buy them brand new for $300. If you got an old 86 CR 500 or an RM 500 or any big bore two-stroke
One
or
that just
250,
came from Sudco was set up on point.
out of the box, plug it in.
On point.
We put one on that Kajiva, and it made it an absolute speedboat roost coming out of the back of it.
They would have won the hill climb.
here's
back
what
in
you do, guys.
80-something
Put
on
it-
that Kajiva.
He did. He beat this
He
the
would
state
have.
champion.
He would have beat it. He would have beat him more.
He beat him 2 out of 3. That was good enough. Guys, put a twin air filter in it, okay? Buy a brand new Kean Air Striker. Put a V-Force reed valve in there with a spacer, like a half-inch spacer. Have the engine ported and put a pipe on it. That's all you need to do, guys. And if you have problems with the engine cases, go to built500.com. You can get yourself some real nice billet engine covers, cases. That AJ's pretty much reverse engineered the entire engine on these things. So he's working on the cylinder now. So this is a forever motor. Definitely want to put an MSV exhaust valve on there. I'm not sure about the horsepower claims, but it definitely seals better. and told the half horsepower on the dyno, but I haven't tested it, so I can't really confirm. Guys, I don't think you need a compression release valve unless you've got a bad knees or something, or you're too old to start it. I can start mine first. I prefer not using the compression release valve.
Myself, I broke my foot last year. I like the button.
Okay, and
I like
Jeff
it,
probably
'cause I
does
can
too,
kick
because
it.
both of you guys are pushing. You got your AARP cards, right?
Yeah.
I got my
you're
second
only
one.
a year behind me.
Dude, I'm on my second card, man. I'll throw myself under the bus. I'm 56.
No, it just works better for me with my foot.
Yeah, I find it easier to start without it, but hey, to each your own, So I'm also weigh 220 pounds, and how much do you weigh?
160.
So there's a 60-pound weight advantage. How much do you weigh?
150.
150. So I got you by 70 pounds, so it's easier. And I'm 6'2", so the leverage. So if you're a little smaller guy, and you want to make it easier to start, that's a hot ticket. They're not a lot of money. You get them for a couple $100 tops. So
Oh, and then the fatty.
the gnarly and the fatty are pretty much neck and neck. I think it was a little bit more horsepower, like a quarter horsepower more.
I think it was a half a horsepower.
And that could have been a function of the jetting or porting or something like that too, because most guys would prefer the fatty. But the gnarly is a little thicker wall.
We had to
It's
use
more
the
durable.
gnarlies because the fatties weren't available.
That's
So
true.
we used the gnarlies, and we were like, "Hey, things making a
I think
little
that-
bit more horsepower."
The FMF pipe is the best bang for the buck. You can buy them from distribution for like under $300.
And it's more rideable, broad power.
And the Power Core 2 silencer, highly recommend that. Or the Pro Circuit 304 factory sounds, stainless series, whatever's in stock. It doesn't really make any difference, does it?
Yeah, they're both good.
I'd match your header to the pipe if you can. That one over there has got the FMF on it. Twin air filters, Key carburetor, Boyson rad valve with a or V-Force with a 1/2-inch spacer.
V-Force.
Port your engine, put a fatty on there, run some good quality gas like VPT2, and wheel you off with a huge smile on your face. Make sure your jetting's good. Start with a 172 main and a 55 pilot. Put your needle in the middle clip, go turn it in half out in the air screw, then take it out and ride it, and then check your plug. If you don't know how to read a plug, there's plenty of videos online that'll show you how to do that. If you don't have a dyno like we have here that'll tell us what the exact fuel-air ratio is, you're shooting for 13-to-1. Don't run it too lean, you'll blow it up. Probably better to have it a little rich than a little too lean.
I would say 180 and the 60.
180 and the 60 to start. Yeah, it's a safe
Yeah.
bet. Jeff, how many runs have we done on the 500 so
I
far?
just counted them all. We're up to 110 runs on different hundreds.
Ben, you said you were 80 last summer. I think we got you covered, but if you add up, did too. I'm sure you guys have done way more than us, and it shows in the performance of the package that they're putting out. Top shelf stuff.
I'd like to know the number of how many 500s we've actually worked on in the past.
Oh my God.
3 years. That would be up there too.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
We have over 50 in stock right now. There's
All the
been
time.
hundreds.
It's a revolving door with 500s.
We have the world's largest supply of CR500s in the world that I know of.
Yeah,
We
they
have
come
more
and they
AFs.
go. They come and they go every day.
We've got damn near close to a dozen AFs, and the rest are Steelies. So, and that's what we like, We have some KX500s, some YZ490s, lots of 250s and 125s. There's over 500 bikes at the Kaplan Cycles shop in the New England Motorcycle Museum. There's a dyno run coming out on this too. We just did the KLX 6SD with the stage 1 kit, put down 35 at the rear wheel, kick-ass machine. So I got some 4-stroke content coming for you guys. The XR66DL, we did a stage 1 on it as a median point between the stage 1 and stage 3 that Jeff's doing. So killer content coming your way. Thanks for watching. Keep the shiny side up, get some exercise, eat right, have fun. You only live once. Follow your dreams, and God bless America.